Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Frazier History Museum. My name's Penny Peebler, and it's my pleasure to welcome you to the official start of the Kentucky Bourbon Trail and to the Spirit of Kentucky exhibition. I'd like to introduce our board chairman, Mac Brown. Thanks for being here today, Mac. And thank you, Chris Morris. Chris Morris is one of the editors of the Spirit of Kentucky exhibit and helped us really create an exhibition of 9,000 square feet that positions why Kentucky is the one true and authentic home of bourbon. And certainly if there's anybody who knows the answer to that question in our state, it's of course our beloved Chris Morris. So thank you so much for your leadership in this exhibition. We've had many, many tens of thousands go through already, and it's due to your dedication and Max and others. So thank you so much for that today. I'd like to thank Mark Brown and Chris Pointer and the team at Woodford for joining with us today for this excitement. It is fitting that we are in the place that Alzie Brown Frazier founded. While he was vice chairman of Brown-Forman, Woodford Reserve was launched, and I think he would be very pleased to see all of you here today. Just 72 days before Kentucky 145, we are here to celebrate the first 144, and more specifically, the last 20 years in partnership between Woodford Reserve and the Kentucky Derby. We're also here to reveal the Woodford Reserve bottle for 145, and for 20 years, we've celebrated the greatest 2 minutes in sports with this partnership. There have been many iconic depictions on the bottle over the years, but I'm proud to announce that today, for the very first time, all of the 20 bottles of Woodford Reserve Derby edition and all of the original artworks will be on display here at the official start of the Kentucky Bourbon Trail beginning on March the 20th. The exhibition will be titled Woodford Reserve and Kentucky Derby, 2 Decades of Artistry, Bourbon and Horse Racing. This is the first time that the bottles and the artwork will be brought back together along with the iconic $1,000 mint julep glasses, other Derby ephemera, advertisements, specialty glasses, and more. We're excited to open the starting gates and get people reminiscing about their Derby's past. And at this time, I would like to introduce Mark Bacon, who is the Vice President and Global Brand Director of Woodford Reserve.
Thank you. Thank you, Penny, and thank you for hosting us at the beautiful Frazier Museum this morning. This is a milestone year for the Woodford Reserve Derby bottle. It's our 20th anniversary of what is now an annual tradition and what has become a collector's item. The artist for this year's bottle is Louisvillian Keith Anderson, who works at Brown-Forman in our Bourbon Street Café. And it's our honor right now to reveal the Woodford Reserve Kentucky Derby 145 bottle. This is the second year for Keith to have his artwork featured on the Derby bottle, and as you can see, the artwork is striking. The reaction to his first bottle, featuring horses breaking out of the starting gate, was so positive that we wanted to have Keith come back for another year. These bottles will be hitting the shelves in the United States and in countries all around the world in the coming weeks. After all, we're just 72 days away from the greatest 2 minutes in sports. Woodford Reserve has been a partner with the Kentucky Derby for the past 20 years. The first as the official bourbon, and now for the past 2 years as a presenting sponsor of the Kentucky Derby. This partnership between two iconic Kentucky brands is a perfect pairing. Woodford Reserve is the world's finest bourbon, aging right alongside the world's finest thoroughbreds in Woodford County in central Kentucky. And that limestone filtered water that makes those thoroughbreds strong makes our bourbon very flavorful. Please join me now in welcoming artist Keith Anderson, who will tell us about his inspiration for this year's Kentucky Derby bottle.
Well, I would just first like to thank God for allowing me this wonderful company to not only once, but 2 years in a row to allow me to put my artwork and showcase my talent. the artwork on the bottle, it came from being the track all week, and being an artist, your mind is always working. So, being here from Louisville, born and raised, we all know how Derby works. It brings out Louisville. It's just all the colors, all the excitement. So being from Louisville, that's what I want to implement that on the bottle. And so what I'm gonna do is unveil this, the actual painting. And I just wanted to do it at a different perspective of being at the track. And once again, all I have to say thank you. I'm very, very grateful for this opportunity, because this artwork, once again, it is global. So I'm very appreciative and thankful to the Woodford Company. Thank you so much.
Congratulations, Keith. We at the Frazier are so proud of you and proud to have a hometown artist representing us throughout the world. At this time, I'd like to welcome Chris Morris to the podium to offer a few words. Chris.
Thank you, Penny. We talked about history. We talked about the Kentucky Bourbon Trailhead starting right here at the Frazier. And again, it's all about history. Why horse racing? Why bourbon? Why Kentucky? We know when our ancestors first settled Kentucky, they brought two things into the state: horses and stills. And the early farms, the early horse farms, were self-sufficient. Many of them had their own stills, their own distilleries. So our great ancestors in central Kentucky were breeding horses and making whiskey. And they'd bring them together in the county fairs, and racing began. And what was one of the early trophies, as early as 1816, for horse races in Kentucky, mint julep cups. So our two industries grew up together, excuse me. And as Mark said, the epicenter of horse breeding, thoroughbred horse breeding in America, in the world, and of course where the best bourbon comes from is Woodford County. So this was all meant to be. History continues. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Chris. And as you were talking, I was remembering that if you'd like to see one of the earliest stills ever used in Kentucky that was unearthed in an archaeological dig at Woodford Reserve, you can go right down the hall here and see it on display here at the Spirit of Kentucky exhibit. I'm pleased to let you know that Mark and Chris and Keith will be downstairs in our Frazier Museum gift shop selling and signing bottles of this year's signature bottle, and it'll be a great photo opportunity for you. If you'd like to have interviews, we'll move everyone downstairs, and we invite you to come back to the Frazier on March the 20th and experience this great exhibit. This is the first exhibit that will showcase the history of building brands and brands' involvement in the community, and it will be one of many that's offered at the Frazier throughout the years. So thank you for joining us today at the official start of the Kentucky Bourbon Trail. Happy Derby!